first time in the Midlands for 10 years doing a talk, so very excited to listen to Bhai's talk. Just a quick BNP, please. If there's a space next to you, just move up, please, just so they instead of coming late, they always do. It's easy for them to sit down. There's Jarnail.
I'm going to interrupt the Jarnail for a moment, just for 2 minutes. We just want to bring each other here mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and any other illies you can think of. So it's just going to be here just for 2 minutes. The samosa nu tusi thoda jiha tal pa do. Just keep them to a side. Close your nose if you have to. And for just for 2 minutes, we'll just start with some Simran, and then we'll kickstart the talk. Vaheguru. 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 बिलावल महल्ला पंजवा राखो अपनी सरन प्रभ मोहि कृपा धारे सेवा कछु न जानू नीच मूर्खारे मान करो तुद ऊपरे मेरे प्रीतम प्यारे हम अपराधी सद भूलते तुम बख्शन हारे रहाओ हम अवगन कर है असंख नीत तुम निर्गुण दातारे दासी संगत प्रभु त्याग ए कर्म हमारे तुम देव हो सब किछ दया तार हम अकिरत कनारे लाग परे तेरे दान स्यो नह चित खस मारे तुझ ते बाहर किछ नहीं पव काटन हारे कहो नानक सरन दयाल गुर ले हो मुग्ध उदारे गगन दमामा बाज्यो पर्यो निशानै घाओ खेत जो मांड्यो सूरमा अब जूझन को दाओ सूरा सो पहचानिए जो लरै दीन के हेत पुरजा कट मरै कबहू ना छाड़ै खेत सगल द्वार को छाड़ के गहयो तुहारो बाहें गह की गोविंद दास सगल द्वार को छाड़ के गहयो तुहारो बाहें गह की लाज आस वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की Thank you for coming here. Thank you for the Singhs for inviting me all the way from sunny Slough. I often start talks talking about where I'm from and comparing it to where I am. There's a reason why I haven't come here in 10 years, I guess, and I think back. Come to the lecture, yoga mat rakhe the. So I'm not sure what you're expecting from me, but it got me thinking, like, how is this space used? Because in London, we don't have many spaces like this. So this is actually phenomenal to see a Gurdwara Sahib, which has a lecture centre, has a place which you can do a few yoga moves, show various things over here. And I'm not sure what the audience is doing, just watching the yoga teacher, but and sometimes you learn just by watching. But it's a true honor, it's a real pleasure to be here. And it's a bit of a long journey from Slough. And got a little bit of a nap in there, which is good. Always good to just close your eyes and sleep. And I started thinking, as I do before talks, and I spend a lot of time thinking, like, in between galla, in between talking about holidays and someone's stag and someone's falana tangra and all of that, in between all of that, I was thinking, I'd never want to move to Birmingham. It's such a desi place. And we come from London. I feel like I've come back 10 years in life, like 10 years in time as well. But jokes aside, you know, the Singhs up and down the country, be it Basics and all other organisations, do some amazing work. And to be fair, Birmingham has done some amazing work for the community. And I look at Sant Jarnail Singh and I always think, one thing they were, without fail, they were for the bunt for the community. It was never about them. It was never about Jathebandiyan. You know, they were about right and the community. And that's the key thing. And I always go back to is we are only as good as how we build our institutions, support one another, and how we grow together as a community. Rather than looking at it as an individual level, it's about growing together. It includes growing our businesses, it includes everything, but we grow everything and give back to our community. Sant Jarnail Singh, and it's not competition between the Sants and the Mahapurush, and I want to make it clear, it's not like, oh, I'm here to big up Sant Jarnail Singh and outdo the previous talkers, the next guy is going to bring up there. It's not a competition between the Sants. It feels like it sometimes, especially in the current Baba culture in Punjab. But this is to inspire us and think, look back at some individuals, some Mahapurush, some great saints in our community. And I think I will take a completely different way of talking about Sant Jarnail Singh to what people are expecting. It's not going to be like date of birth and times. What we're going to do is spend the next hour or so watching Sant Jarnail Singh do speeches, and all I would do is provide a little bit of context and really try to understand three things. Their character, like what made them the single most influential Sikh of the 20th century. Like, how does that happen? Like, how does it that the whole Qawm is behind you, bar a few, but the people are rallying behind you? Like, how does that happen? Because you look at England, loads of people try to become leaders. There's loads of, okay, I'm going to go a little bit political. You've got Sikh Council, and you've got Supreme Sikh Council, then you've got Supreme British Sikh Council, then you've got Prana Council. Like, why is it, what are we lacking? No disrespect to any of those organisations, they're all working in their fields and trying to make a positive impact. But what made Sant Jarnail Singh stand out comparatively to anyone else in those days as well? Because they weren't the only Sant in that day, in those days. There's no doubt about that. Their objectives and also their Jivan. And there's three things we're going to try and hit, but we're going to listen to as much of Sant Jarnail Singh's speeches. So, the biggest thing I want to focus on is their mindset. I'm going to be completely honest. About 15 years ago, I did a talk, and you're probably thinking, 15 years ago, I wonder how old he is now then. I'm not going to tell you, obviously. I'm not an uncle. I could be a child to some of you uncles over here. Okay. But 15 years, I did a talk, and I still remember this talk, and it was called, it was about 1984, it was a youth club camp or something. I delivered it a couple of times, to be fair, in Southall as well. And what I was doing without realising it, I was doing this little sad story. Look at us, bachare, Sikh, 1984, look at us, how bachare we are. We got killed in 1984. This happened to us. So really like a sad, pity story. Like, please, pity us. And I was trying to get the youngsters to almost pity the situation, pity themselves, pity me. And I look back thinking, yeah, what was I doing? I didn't understand the mindset. I didn't understand the mindset of the Singhs with Sant Jarnail Singh. It was a case of we saw something, we learned something, and a lot of the work the organisations are doing now is changing the narrative around 1984 from a sad story of mere naal ki hoya, dekho yaar, mera takka hoya, to, you know what, we're going to own this story, and if it needs to happen again, it will happen again. It's about owning that story. And so understanding the mindset of Sant Jarnail Singh is really important. And you'll see through Santji's speeches, like, they did not give a hoot about anything. Who it is, they don't give a hell. And I'm not saying, and I make it clear, that me doing a talk for an hour is going to be a case of where I've got that mindset. It's a mindset which we need to develop as a community, the resilience and stuff like that. But what I'll say is, if we take on that mindset, we will be different people. It doesn't mean go to work tomorrow and start sticking two fingers at your employer. That's definitely not the intention. I'm not trying to say go back to your mortgage or your universities or whatever you are. I'm just saying there's small things we can take and start building that into our mindset. And we'll start seeing, you know what, we'll go into our workplaces, our universities, or wherever we are in our schools, we're more confident, and we really don't care about what next man thinks. We care about what the Guru thinks, and we care what success looks like in whatever field we're in. And developing that kind of mindset. And obviously, Jinnah Nabi Sadai Naam Sikh Nehiya. I always love this Pankti. It came in Sahaj Paul when I was doing this morning. Like, what are they like, those people? We heard about Bhai Randir Singh, we heard about Bhai Singh Ji, we heard about Baba Thakur, all the Mahapurush. Like, what were they like? Like, what, you know, and this is what I think, when I think about Sant Jarnail Singh, I'm always thinking, like, I wonder, like, meeting them in the flesh, like, what were they like in that aura, 6 foot Jawan, Lumberjack, you know, like, what would it be like to meet them? Like, they are the walking in this earth as a Rabb. So, let's do this. So I'll keep it very brief, and in terms of giving you context is my objective. Sant Jarnail Singh was the 14th Mukhi of the Damdami Taksal. The Taksal started on these lines from Sasaki and from Surya Prakash, where essentially someone was reading Gurbani incorrectly, and Guru Gobind Singh Ji said, I won't go through the history, but Guru Gobind Singh said, okay, sahi pare, and whatever happened, and they go Bani jiski suddha hoye, tisai mile har rai, and that from there the parampara, the tradition of reading Gurbani correctly started. I also say this, and you know, the Taksal is not just about reading Gurbani correctly. The Taksal is an Arthadi Pranali. The Giani Singhs are a way of the scholars. They not just hold, sometimes even the UK, especially UK Taksal circles, always says read Gurbani really clearly and should. Without actually realizing the Taksal is Arthadi Pranali, they continue to hold the meanings of Gurbani as well in print or whatever, and teaching those meanings. So it's not just about reading Gurbani, the Taksal, it's also about teaching Gurbani, it's about teaching the meanings of Gurbani as well, and holding those traditions. In the Jatha, they were known as something called a Abhyasi. Abhyasi means someone who is, you know, continuously engrossed in Gurbani, in Simran. Is quite often known for Santji to be doing daily 110 Japji Sahibs. And sometimes we think, yeah, and someone like me being a maths teacher and a know-it-all kind of geezer, I sit there going, okay, 8 minutes to do a Japji Sahib, 110, like how, you know, that's like 14 hours worth of part. When's he going to go to the toilet? When's he do Shanan, Baki part, whatever? And we start working through, and through our kind of common sense logic, thinking that can't happen. I've met things in my life, I've met people in my life who were eating langar pani and doing a Japji Sahib while eating langar pani, just with that focus. That's how focused their mind is. We're thinking about kids, depending on what stage in life you're in, dissertations, whatever it is. I've sat with things and they're literally just eating their langar pani, silent, and they can do a Japji Sahib within 6-7 minutes. And when you start going to that focus of mind, anything is possible. My Ustad Giani Pritam Singh would say that anyone staying within the Jatha of Taksal, Haunt is different, you know, we all UK lot go, it's all very different, but it was mandatory to do Panj Granthi Nitnem. So every morning, at some point through the day, you have to do Japji Sahib, or you do Nitnem, then you have to do Shabdazari Japji Sahib, Dakhni Onkar, Asaki Var, Bhavan Akhri, Siddh Ghost, and Asaki Var. And that was normal. So when you're reading at least, at the very basic, probably 6, 7, 8 hours of Gurbani. And that was Santji's routine till the very end that we're reading out Gurbani. And the key thing is, which we've lost that tradition, and the Jews have held onto it really well, the Muslims have held onto it really well, is memorizing Gurbani. Like, I reckon there's kids. The kids probably know more, to be fair. My brother was saying to me the other day, is a 5-year-old, and he had 13 Bani off by heart. 13 Baniya. They were like Basant ki Bani shortiyan, but then it's 5 years old. My kid's a 4-year-old. I think he just about knows his movement, to be fair. But that's because we're like, we're too monocoddling our kids, and made me think definitely like we should be pushing our kids even further. So Santji had enormous Gurbani Jagme Chandan Karam Vasai, that, you know, Gurbani is what made Santji. And that's the first thing. What made Santji and the impact of Santji was Gurbani. And I want to just share, and a lot of this, I'm trying to make it so it's a lot of Santji's clips rather than me speaking, is I want to show a clip first, okay? Hopefully this all works. It should all work, in theory. Let's go. This is the first clip I want to show. It's of someone else speaking about Sant Jarnail Singh, yeah? Bra change nahi hoya. Who's the tech? Wait, let's do this. I've got an idea. Brilliant, that's it. I'll be gonna bend though. But I'm going to Let's go.
ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਕਰੜਾ ਬੋਲ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਪਿਓ ਵਰਗਾ ਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਕਿਹਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਤੇ ਦੱਸੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਹੋ ਆਪਣੀ ਸ਼ਕਲ ਸੂਰਤ ਵੇਖੋ ਬਹੁਤ ਕਰੜਾ ਬੋਲ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਅੰਦਾਜ਼ਾ ਲਾਇਆ ਵੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਕੋਲ ਹਥਿਆਰ ਨੇ ਸਟੇਜ ਦੇ ਨੇੜੇ ਨੇੜੇ ਤੱਕ ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੁੱਟਦਾ ਹੋਵੇਗਾ ਪਰ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਲੋਕ ਖਲੋਤੇ ਤਾਂ ਨਿੰਦਿਆ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੁਣ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਕੱਟ ਸੀ ਪਰ ਮੈਂ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਵੇਖਿਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਭਜਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਐਸਾ ਪ੍ਰਭਾਵ ਪੈ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਨੌਜਵਾਨ ਮੋਨੇ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਜੋ ਸੰਤ ਜੀ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਦਰੁਸਤ ਆ ਅਸੀਂ ਗਲਤ ਅੱਜ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਅਸੀਂ ਨਸ਼ਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੇਸ ਦਾੜਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਟਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਛਕਾਂਗੇ ਐਸਾ ਪ੍ਰਭਾਵ ਪੈ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਕਿਉਂ ਕਰਮ ਖੰਡ ਕੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਜੋ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਦੇ ਖੰਡ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੋ ਪਹੁੰਚਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਚਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਜ਼ੋਰ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਦੁਰਾਹੇ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ
And I just want to kind of dwell on that for a little bit because Sant Jarnail Singh, they had one thing, and this is something which is really important to understand, is the Pankti in Gurbani Sari Rag goes, Jeh karni teh puri mat, karni bajo kate kat. The reason sometimes that our actions and thoughts don't align with what we're saying. And with Sant Ji, there was two things, Jeh karni teh puri mat, their karni was pure, their conduct was pure. There wouldn't be a case of कि साडे मोरे हाँ जी तुसी सारे जने पाठ करो घर जाके सौ जाना है whatever it is a very kind of focused and a pure deeds and a focus on his deeds. They're puri mat, and those people have the puri mat, have a proper intellect, have a full and complete intellect understanding of the Guru's way. And that's where I go back to myself and look at myself and say that's what my fault was. When 15 years ago when I first started doing talks and talking about 84, I was too busy trying to create a sad story about us as a community, but not realising that actually meri karni was whatever it was and trying my best, and as always one would. But my mat was very much based on influences from the Western world, what we see on TV and what we think will be the right narrative rather than focusing what the Guru's narrative is or what Sant's narrative was. Karni bajho kate kat, and ultimately those who don't have the karni, they've got nothing to say it. And this is something as a generation, especially as the next generation, Sikhi is exploding. Like, all up and down the country, you look everywhere, everyone's becoming Singhs. It's like a fashionable thing now. Everyone's tying the malle, everyone's looking really good. But what we're lacking is the karni of actually that real actions of waking up in the morning, fighting our vices, doing seva, langaran je pande tonia. Because when I remember when I got into Sikhi, and we often talk about this locally, is the focus for us was 15 years ago, 20 years ago now, was like every Singh who's or Bibbi, we're all trying to do like 20, 30 japji sahibs a day. That was the focus. That was like, we grew up with Singh saying like, if you're not doing Banja Granthi, you're not really, if you're not reading that much part, I'm not putting pressure on anyone. I'm just saying, like, not, are you even a Singh? Like, there's the kind of comments that be coming out. That was like, the bar was so high. But now what's happened is we've got a bar where the bar to enter, because you can buy jewelry, you can buy damalli and shasta so easily in shops. So it's so easy to enter, but what we're seeing is a lack of high quality actions and karani. And that's something we need to make sure that we all lift the bar a little bit and ensure the youngsters around us. And obviously the situation you had at the Gurdwara over here, that's the story all run up and down the country. And we've really kind of been knocking stuff like that out because the people who are actually jungi never acted like that. The people who actually fought a battle, they never acted like that. So we really got this, there's definitely an imbalance, which as a community we need to reflect on. So that story over there shows the power of Sant Jarnail Singh, that when they spoke, people listened. Like you see pictures, thousands of people listening to Sant Jarnail Singh. Because when they spoke from a place of truth, they spoke from a place of complete karni, of actions matched their words. And when we talk about Sant Ji's Jeevan, the last thing I'll say is, I'll show you a video. And the context behind this video, right? Because I want Sant Ji to do speaking, not me. It's a 10-minute video, I won't show all of it, but I'll give you the context. This yogi comes to Sant Jarnail Singh, and Sant Ji, I'll give you a small fun fact. Sant Ji did more press conferences than Modi has. Can you believe it? Sant Ji, he was so open to people to talk to Sant Jarnail Singh. He's a radical one, people would say. There were people come to him, talk to him, press conferences, conversations, journalists, whoever you want. So this lady comes to Sant Jarnail Singh, and she's a yogi lady. She comes to the older yogi, the main yogi guy. I don't know what discipline he's in. I don't really care. Even Sant Ji says, "You've come here. Like, I don't really care who you are. I haven't come to you." So he's brought his Western chili. She's like don't know how politically correct this is. She's like a hippie kind of astrologer, fortune teller, lady kind of stuff, right? You'll see her. And they've come to Sant Jarnail Singh, and there's a 2-hour clip. There's a 2 hours. And this is what happens when she meets Sant Jarnail Singh, yeah? So the audio is not great, but you're going to have to bear with it, yeah? And if YouTube ads come up, just accept them. So that's the main yogi guy, and that's the Western American Canadian, you know, American Canadian hippies, one of those. So she's concentrating.
Very unusual happened in his life, which was very much to change the whole way that he lived.
So I'll stop there. So I'll keep doing the video. So what happens is she starts saying, in the past, she keeps talking about Sanji's past, and she goes, you know, when you're 8 years old, something happened in your life, la, la, la. Sanji turns around and says, like, I'm literally the talk of the town. Literally every newspaper was talking about Sanji, like what they said, or like, get up Bayan Aya, because Sanji was like, I'm going to do Bayans from Manji Sahib. So go for Darbar Sahib, speak from there, and all the journalists will cover what Sanji was saying. He's like, everyone knows who I am, everyone knows where my background is, where I was born, what age I came to the Taksal, everything, everyone knows it. So she goes, keeps waffling on about that. Then Sanji goes, let's go into it a little bit. And then she starts saying things like, she keeps repeating the same thing. And then she starts talking about the future. The future is inevitable, because if you think about what's happening, Sanji is about 82, Sanji is in Darbar Sahib. Everyone knows what direction this is traveling in terms of not saying that we knew that Darbar Sahib was going to be attacked, but in the sense that it was, you know, it was exploding. Things were exploding. So obviously Sanji's life was in danger. Let's pick it up from there, yeah?
What he's praying for the community.
जिस चीज वास्ते तुसी प्रार्थना करते हो कौम वास्ते ओदे वास्ते कि 5 ਤੋਂ 7 साल लगेंगे वो पूरी चीज वास्ते लेकिन 14 ਤੋਂ 18 महीने में तकरीबन होता 30 है कहने के हो क्या ये 5 ਤੋਂ 7 साल को पहले से 14 महीने से पहले जो सी पर को पूरा
Within it's kind of obvious to say this. He will not. He will not. Obviously, he's been here for quite some time, but it's like I can see that there's like a lessening within this 14 to 18 months, so that he does not stay here. This does not. He's able to go out of here.
ये तो हम पिछले बंदे से तौर पे रहना रहा है कि 14 और 18 महीने अंदर सारा खत्म हो जाएगा और सारा तो बाहर लग जाएंगे
He will not accept the next statement, but within 5 to 7 years,
So I'm going to move forward a little bit.
specifically here, I'm looking at May, June 19.
She starts predicting the future, talking some nonsense.
But the next 5 to 7 months are extremely
So Sanji said, tell me something which the public doesn't know. Simple, right? Like, if you're such a popular figure, everyone's talking about you, tell me something that people don't know. And this is where it gets interesting. Like, you can tell Sanji literally wants to laugh her out. Like, you can tell, like, he could not give two hoots about Gori, she's here, what is she doing wasting her time? But, like, Santaji is incredibly witty. Like, if you hear his speeches, they're like, so there's one time they got arrested and then they got released and they went on the stage, they go, look, if I was innocent, why did they arrest me? If I was guilty, why did they release me? It's simple, right? And they're so witty in the way and they're so quick with their answers, people couldn't keep up. Like, they were playing people, like politicians, with the Kali Dal, etc. But let's watch this. Sorry. here's Sanji's answer about protection now, yeah?
अगले 5 ਤੋਂ 7 ਮਹੀਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਬਚਾਓ ਦੇ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਹੋਏਗਾ ਸੁਖੀ ਲੇਕਿਨ ਇਹ ਬੜਾ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਬਚਾਓ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਬੰਦੋਬਸਤ ਰੱਖਣਾ
Laugh.
ਬਚਾਓ ਨਸ਼ੋ ਆਪਣੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੀ ਸੋਚ
Because those who have faith in the Guru, they don't need protection. जिन्होंने ने गुरु दे आसरे है ना, they're protected by the Guru. Those who've given everything to the Guru, they're protected by the Guru. And it goes on, this is the best bit now. So she, I'm going to try and get to the right bit now. I think, even here, Sanji goes, listen, she's come here, I'm not interested. So what ends up happening is the yogi says to her, because she's like, I don't have time to focus. Like, I don't have time to like close my eyes and stuff. And eventually the yogi goes, close your eyes and go into like a, whatever you want, a deep state, whatever she calls it. And she goes into there and she starts saying some stuff. And then Sanji shows his ability, how much kirpa he has. I'll go back a little bit, you can see the whole thing.
कोई चाइल्ड उन्होंने अपना पूरे 4 मौके दिन इस वक्त जी उन्हें ज़्यादा नहीं कह
सकते I'm not interested in a conversation with you.
The future, one has to wait to see. But you said that tomorrow does not tell him something which has already passed.
Okay, what it is that I'm so conscious of the revolt.
Okay, that's right. Just over 2 minutes. You can't tell that.
So that's all I'm going to say, Sanji goes, looks at her, no closing eyes, nothing like that, no Pakandan, moving heads around, whatever. He goes, you were 13 years old when you came into this path of fortune telling, whatever, right? She waffles on about something, and then the translator translates. And check this bit out now, okay? It's just, it's 5G hai nahi. Fiber nahi the. I'm hotspotting, to be fair. Let's go. Give it. So if it doesn't load, I'll just have to tell you what happens. It's not as good hearing it from me than hearing from Sant. But Sanji goes, then she goes, she basically acts really surprised. She's like, yeah, I was like 14 years old and I found this path. And then Sanji goes straight, he goes, that's not I can say more, but this is not the way of Gurmat. The second thing, the guy who's sitting there in this the start over here, and he basically rips the lady. He goes, na santa ne akha band kitiyan, na santa ne koi samadhi lai, santa ne udan gallan ji dasta. He's like, yeah. So that's like, when we look at Santji, there's an Indian journalist who's asked, like, was Sanjay Singh Ji a Sant, or was he a terrorist or radical, whatever? And he goes, put everything to the side, he was a saint. He was a saint, a fierce saint, but he was a saint with a motive. He was a saint but was wanting to make a change. So let's keep going, because the time is running out, but I actually don't know what the time is, but I assume it is. यार इत्थे थोड़ा जा काम औखा है ना बर्मिंघम च कंप्यूटरां दा I think so, buddy. See, is the thingy going to work on yours though? The videos. Let's try that. I think I probably know why it's happening, to be fair. Otherwise, what I'll do is I'll put the videos on here. We'll just switch it around again. If it needs to be. Yeah, it just froze. I think I know why it froze up, to be fair. 2 minutes, people, 2 minutes. The teacher and me wants to say, talk amongst yourself. think we'll be okay. I think I know what the problem was, because when I embedded the videos. Yeah, let's go. I think we're good. Just put it back on mine. I think I know what the problem was. Yeah. I think I embedded the videos, and they basically crashed the PowerPoint. Sure. Do you okay? Hopefully this all works again now. Let's see if this works now. Yeah, cool. Right, so let's go. Sorry. So what were Santji's objectives? And we'll just spend a few moments talking about what Santji's objectives were. Ultimately, Santji's objectives were very simple. There was the political games that were being played and the objectives of the community. But you hear Santji speak every single time, the objectives are very simple. And the first and foremost is nashe shaddo, alcohol, also any intoxications or shaddo. Come back home, take Amrit, come back to the Guru. Whatever way we've gone, whatever we lost ourselves, come back home, follow the discipline of the Guru. In terms of what kind of got them wound up in that sense, but they said, respect for Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, that was, always kept in, the respect for Guru Granth Sahib Ji was, paramount. That was the most important thing. And the respect of our mothers and sisters. And I'll talk about this later on as well, but there were cases of places like in Haryana where Sikh women were like raped and left naked on the roadside for 24 hours, 30 hours. Like that was happening, especially outside of Punjab. You saw people in Punjab, drugs, nashe, sharab, all the domestic violence, all of that. And Sanji's like, bang, that's wrong. Bang, out of order. We need to clean the ganda of our community out. Shake off the physical and mental gulami. And this still exists today. Sanji is that one person whose photo is banned in India. Like, think about it. How much fear you instill in a sarkar, in a government, if your photo is banned. There's literally people been arrested and been put in jail in India for having pictures of Sanjay Singh Ji. And there's a case from a young lad, and I think his mum as well. And in Hindustan, let's say do number de shahri. Yes, Sanji talks about this lot, that we're do number de shahri, which means we're second-class citizens in Hindustan, in India. And in terms of language, agriculture, water, and religious affairs, Sanji wanted Punjab, the Sikh community, for his religious affairs to be controlled by Punjab. And so Sanji's put a speech on Sanji's now. It's got that like music behind it, which people sometimes like. But here's another one as well for Sanji, talking about what their war is with and who is it with. I don't know what these pictures are there for. Oh. You can't trust Birmingham, innit? You know what? I think I know what it is. Anyone got a USB? I think my hotspot.
We can send him in the group after.
No, you got to watch him, man. I'm going to stay all night until everyone watches the videos. Tusi get door unlock la lena, yeah. Wait, let's. I think my hotspot turned off. That's what it was. Right. Anyone got USB-C charger?
Yeah.
Brilliant, Pardy. That is prepared. Right. I think this should work once it connects to my hotspot again. I actually thought naively that there'll be Wi-Fi that worked. That looks. Gosh.
Talks next week are going to be at Baba San.
Yeah. Bobby's not going to have it, is he? Right. I think it's a sign, that warning, isn't it? It's right. Not even connected. Give me a sec. Yeah, I think I'm not even. I'm trying to see if I'm connected to the Wi-Fi. Right, let's see if I'm connected. No, I say I'm connected to some Punjabi school. Yeah. Well, there you go. Now we're back. Please, please. Right. Vaheguru, Vaheguru.
Amazon Prime Day is here. 4 days of big deals. Shop now.
I don't know if anyone has titled a yogurt as sexy. I cannot describe it as anything less.
Well, you can hear it. Yes. We're back, people, we're back. Right, let's go. Let's go. Vaheguru, Vaheguru.
ਐਵੇਂ ਦਾ ਖਿਆਲ ਕਰਦਾ ਕਰੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਜੀ ਥੋੜੇ ਜਿਹੇ ਜੀ ਆਟੇ ਤੇ ਲੂਣ ਦੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਲੂਣ ਜਰਾ ਕਿ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਪੈ ਜਾਵੇ ਗੁਰਤੀ ਅੰਦਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੰਘਦੀ ਗੀ ਸਾਰਾ ਆਟਾ ਖਰਾਬ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਆਪਣਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਾਂਟੀ ਤੌਰ
That happened to me this morning. My missus made a couscous on with मैं कहता लून होर पा लिया, she's a bit low, put a bit too much lून in, सारा खाना खराब हो गया. But this is a mindset. Do not think that because we are a small religion that we you know, I often say to people, if we change our perspective as a community, we are punching way above our weight. For what, 30 million Sikhs out there, and the World Bank leaders up on her. Do you get me? Like for 30 million of us, proportionally, we are punching way above our weight. Sometimes we think, oh, everyone's leaving Sikhi, or sare ban gaya, dan ho gaya, oh ho gaya. But as a community, we punch way above our weight. But jehdi sadi kaat hai na, that we've lost our Sikhi in that process. We've lost our identity. We've lost our sense of a community in that process. But we are smashing it. And Sanji's saying that as a small community, don't think that we can't do anything. Or je kehne Sant je thoda je loon zyada pੈ ਗਿਆ ਸਾਰਾ ਰੋਟੀ ਖਰਾਬ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ. That's the example they gave.
ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੋਈ ਈਰਖਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਪਰ ਜੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਧਰਮ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਨਾਸ਼ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੇਗਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਸਾਵਧਾਨ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਹੱਕ ਲੈਣਾ ਹੈ ਆ ਕੱਲ ਵੀ ਸੰਤ ਜੀ ਬੋਲੇ ਸੀ ਅੱਜ ਵੀ ਅਖਬਾਰਾਂ ਵਾਲੇ ਕੁਝ ਪ੍ਰੇਮੀ ਆਏ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਕੱਲ ਗਿਆ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਜਾਣਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕਿ ਸੰਤਾਂ ਕੋਲ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ ਬਾਬਾ ਲੰਗੋਵਾਲ ਜੀ ਕੋਲ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਲੰਗੋਵਾਲ ਜੀ ਭਿੰਡਰਾਂਵਾਲਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਕੁ ਨੱਕ ਭੇਜ ਹੈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਵੀ ਦੱਸ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਮੁੜ ਕੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਕਹੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਕੁ ਖਰਚਦੀ ਹੈ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਸਮਾਂ ਦੱਸੂਗਾ ਅੱਜ ਤੱਕ ਕੋਈ ਆਦਮੀ ਦੀ ਖੜਕਦੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਖੜਕਦੀ ਕਿਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੈ ਸਾਡੀ ਖੜਕਦੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਭੈਣਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੰਗਿਆ ਕਰਦਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਡੀ ਖੜਕਦੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਭੈਣਾਂ ਦੀ ਇੱਜ਼ਤ ਕਰਦਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਡੀ ਖੜਕਦੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥਾਂ ਦੀ ਜਾਰੀ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਖੜਕਦੀ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੀ ਤਾਰ ਤੇ ਵੇਖ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕੇਗੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੱਕ ਇਹ ਕੰਮ ਬੰਦ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਦੇਗੇ ਸੋ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਦੀ ਸੋਚ ਲਓ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਛਕੋ ਰਹਿਤ ਰੱਖੋ ਤੇ ਪਿਆਰ ਪ੍ਰਚਾਰ ਹੋਵੋ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਭੈਜਾ ਬਣਿਆ ਨਾ ਵੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਪ੍ਰਵੇਸ਼ ਹੋ ਜਾਣਗੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕੋਲ ਸਪਰਿੰਗ ਵਾਲੀਆਂ ਪੌੜੀਆਂ ਇੱਕ ਮਿੰਟ ਦੀ ਪੌੜੀ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਕੋਠੇ ਨੂੰ ਪੌੜੀ ਕੋਠੇ ਨੂੰ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਏਗੀ ਬੰਦਾ ਮਿੰਟ ਚੱਲ ਪੌੜੀ ਉੱਪਰ ਦੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਤਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਲੱਤਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਚੱਲਣਾ ਨੇ ਪੌੜੀ ਤੇ ਗਾਹ ਕੋਈ ਇੱਥੇ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਚੂੜੀਆਂ ਪਾਈ ਬੈਠੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਤਾਂ ਸਮਾਂ ਆਉਣ ਦਿਓ ਇਹ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਮਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦਾ ਜਾਂ ਲੰਬਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਜਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਮਰ ਸਾਰੇ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ ਪਰ ਇਹ ਸਿਰਫ ਉਹ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਕਾਂਗਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਲੱਗ ਕੇ ਟਰਾਕੀ ਤੇ ਜਾਣ ਕੇ ਤੁਰ ਕੇ ਉਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਂਦਾ
Look at that, like, mindset. Yeah, on Ireland, there was a truck and I'm not trying to provoke war here, but I'm saying in that moment, again, think about 1980s, in that moment, with everything happening in Punjab, that was the mahal that was building up. And most of us will collapse under the pressure, would retreat home, whatever, including myself. But Sanji is there, vanguard there, calling them out, saying, Aajo Giani on aaya. Talking about Darbar Sahib attack. I love this. You know, अपने पंजाबी जगह फटे चक दूंगे, you know, like planks or चक लूंगे. And Sanji's ripping them, he's saying, where are these fatte they're going to pick up? Well, what are you going to do? Like, it's all about take control, take responsibility. And the message still applies today. There may not be active, a battle pending or whatever, but like, are we taking control of our families and taking responsibility for our families, in our communities, in our schools? There's other young Singhs there. Do we look out for each other in our universities, in our workplaces? Are we having that sense of community and taking action and taking care of one another and acting in our local places?
खतरा
ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਦੇ ਸਰੂਪ ਦਾ ਰਮਾਲਾ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਜੀ ਗੋਲੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰੂੜੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਦੱਬ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਉਹ ਰੂੜੀ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਕੱਢਿਆ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨੇ ਹੁਣ ਤੱਕ ਉਹ ਸਰੂਪ ਗੋਹੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਿਬੜਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਉੱਥੇ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਵਿਰਾਜਮਾਨ ਹੈ ਮੈਂ ਸਾਰੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਗਏ ਉੱਥੇ ਦੱਸੋ ਇੱਕ ਬੰਦਾ ਵੀ ਦੱਸੋ ਗਏ ਨੇ 3 ਮਹੀਨੇ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਇਸ ਕੇਸ ਨੂੰ ਤੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਜੱਥੇਦਾਰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੈਣੀਆਂ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਜੀ ਜੋ ਹੁਕਮ ਹੋਊਗਾ ਉਹ ਹੁਕਮ ਸਾਰੇ ਤੇ ਲਿਖਾਉਣਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੱਸੋ ਜੀ ਤੇ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਹੋ ਇੱਕ ਬੰਦਾ ਦੱਸੋ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਫੇਰਵਾਲੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਤੇ ਜਾਂ ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਗੋਲੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਦੱਬਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਸਜ਼ਾ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਦੱਸੋ ਉਹ ਕਿਹਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿਹਦੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਮੇਵਾਰੀ ਲੈਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਐਦੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਜ਼ਿੰਮੇਵਾਰੀ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਦੇਵਾਂਗੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਦਰਬਾਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦਾ ਸਥਾਨ ਹੋਵੇ ਪੰਜਵੇਂ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਨੇ ਪਵਿੱਤਰ ਚੰਨ ਪੈ ਕੇ ਧਰਤੀ ਪਵਿੱਤਰ ਹੋਈ ਹੋਵੇ ਦਸਾਂ ਸਰੂਪਾਂ ਦੀ ਆਤਮਿਕ ਜੋਤ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਸ਼ ਹੋਵੇ ਸੰਗਤ ਵਿੱਚ ਖੜੋ ਕੇ ਮੈਂ ਜ਼ਿੰਮੇਵਾਰੀ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ ਤੇ ਫੇਰ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਗੱਲ ਨਾ ਦੇਵੋ ਤੇ ਪਿੱਛੋਂ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਬਾ ਦੀ ਜੋਤ ਪਾਓਗੇ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਕੀ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ
I think this is real important trying to understand Santji here. At no point was Santji saying that I am like the leader or I am the person that everyone should be following. It's about empowering the listeners. It's empowering those who are in the Sangat, who'd come from, I don't know, Batala, who come from other parts of Chandigarh, wherever it is, and it's saying to them that tusi apne ilake sambo. You look after your areas, you look after where you are, rather than saying, everyone come to me, like the culture now might be, everyone come to me, I am your leader. Sanji said, don't come to me. What are you going to do by coming to me? What do you want in writing? Like you want some sort of permission slip? What are you after? Thwada lakaya, utte saam karo. Figure out what's going on there. So, and I keep moving on. One of the key things that, again, I'm speaking very kind of shorthand, is the Anandpur Sahib Mata. That was a big issue. It's essentially trying to make sure that we have, the idea was, and again, Santji took the Bantik stance of everyone working towards the Mata, even if they may not have thought this is the best strategy, but for a number of years, they were like, we will work towards, collectively as a community, onto one goal, which is the Anandpur Sahib resolution. It's an important resolution, because it's talking about the rights of Punjab and Punjabis, not just Sikh, but Punjabis as a whole, including things like the decentralisation of power. Chandigarh and Punjabi-speaking states to be brought back into Punjab. For example, there's places like Ambala, which technically is not Punjab, but everyone there speaks Punjabi. There's places, there was a referendum done, I think in the 60s, where people were giving media interviews saying, Hanji, assi ta Punjabi nahi bolde, assi Hindi bolde hain, but they're speaking Punjabi. But for whatever pressure, government influences, whatever, those places and those referendums then start becoming Haryana. And you see from this image over here, that West Punjab is on the left-hand side. That's the Pakistan, Lahore, Gujranwale, etc. That's the Punjab. When we talk about Punjab, that's all it is now. You know, you got the bordering state of Amritsar, etc. all over there, Gurdaspur. And then from here, 1958, the Himla Pradesh, HP, Punjab element was taken out. And what Santji was saying is we know that that is the original Punjab, but we also appreciate, in Anandpur Sahib Mata was, that not everyone there speaks Punjabi as a first language. So in that case, that Punjabi should be the second language in those places. You lose the language, you lose the culture. Imagine a situation where, you know, no one speaks Punjabi anymore. How are we going to interact with Gurbani? How are we going to interact with our Sabhyachar, our culture, our whatever it might be, right? Our connection with the Guru is through Gurbani, is through Gurmukhi Lippi, through Punjabi script. So it's simple things. This is the craziest one. That Kirtan to be broadcasted on throughout the world, through radio, whatever the signal, whatever it would be, of Darbar Sahib. For, you know, from 1977, Sant Jarnail Singh was a Mukhi of Taksal. The whole, you know, the movement was kicking off, Dharm Yudh Morcha. But do you know when they did it? Straight after tracking Darbar Sahib. Within months of 1984, June 84, they opened up the radio so Darbar Sahib Kirtan could be played. So they could have done it at any point before, but they'd rather try to destroy us and then say, oh, chal tusi aa le lo. There's things like making sure Punjab, or sorry, Amritsar is a sacred holy city status, like you see in Hardwar and etc. So what is Sant? So Santji was, you know, obviously working alongside this, but Santji goes back to his main aim, which has always been. Let me go. So Santji's main aim is always to ensure that the Pant moves forward, but it's about nashe, drugs, alcohol, removing that. So Santji talking about Anandpur Sahib Mata here now.
ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਨੁੱਖ ਆਪਣੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਵੇਲਾ ਘਰੇ ਜੰਮ ਕੇ ਤੇ ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰੇ ਪੈਰ ਹੀ ਨਾ ਪਾਵੇ, ਉਹਦਾ ਘਰ ਵਸਦਾ ਰਹਿ ਸਕਦਾ ਕਦੇ? ਆਪਾਂ ਜੰਮੇ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਇੱਥੇ? ਗੁਰੂ ਕੇ ਖਾਲਸੇ ਦਾ ਜਨਮ ਸਥਾਨ ਹੈ ਅਨੰਦਪੁਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ। ਕੱਲਾ ਖਾਲਸੇ ਦਾ ਜਨਮ ਨਹੀਂ, ਪੁੱਤਰਾਂ ਨੇ ਦਾਨੀ ਦਾ ਵਚਨ ਦੇਣ ਦਾ ਖਾਲਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਉਹ ਥਾਂ ਹੈ। ਇਹ ਸਮਰਪੀ ਦਾਤ ਵਟੇ ਕਿ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਜੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਬਖਸ਼ੋ ਤੇ ਧੰਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਸਿੱਖ ਸ਼ਾਂਤੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ। ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਭਲਾ ਸਾਰੇ ਦਿਨ ਨੌਜਵਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਖਾਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਕਹੂੰਗਾ, ਆਪਣੇ ਚਿਹਰੇ ਤੇ ਹੱਥ ਮਾਰ ਕੇ ਦੇਖੋ ਤਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੰਬਰ ਬੜੇ ਕਰੇ। ਆਪਣੇ ਦਾੜੇ ਸਾਬਤ ਆ, ਕਿਰਪਾਨਾਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ, ਪਾਣੀ ਕਾਂਠਾ, ਸ਼ਰਾਬ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੀਂਦਾ। ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬੰਦਾ ਘੱਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੰਨਦਾ ਉਹ ਆਪਣਾ ਤਖਤੇ ਕੌਣ ਲਾਉਣ ਦੇਊਗਾ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਚਿਪਸ ਕੌਣ ਲਾਉਣ ਦੇਊਗਾ, ਬਾਲੀਆਂ ਕੌਣ ਲਾਉਣ ਦੇਊਗਾ? ਅਨੰਦਪੁਰ ਦਾ ਮਤਾ ਲੈਣਾ ਤਾਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਅਨੰਦਪੁਰ ਘਰੇ ਵੜੋ, ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਛਕੋ, ਫਿਰ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਮਿਲੂਗਾ।
Shout out to Seeking the Guru, who's done some phenomenal work, whoever that person is, in translating and making these short videos. It really is an amazing resource for the community. So, and the next thing I want to talk about is Santji's mindset and how they used to think. This is a great video because you'll see how witty Santji is in here, but you also see how fearless Santji is as well, and how they think. There you go, let's watch this, yeah? This doesn't have subtitles, so I'll translate as we go along.
17 ਜੁਲਾਈ ਦੀ ਪਕੜੀ ਹੋਈ, 1 ਸਾਲ ਤੇ 2 ਦਿਨਾਂ ਚ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਹੈ। ਉਹ ਚਲਾ ਕੌਣ ਰਹੇ ਹੈ? ਇੱਕ ਤਾਂ ਗੁਰਬਚਨਾ DSP।
Okay, so what's happened? It's been 1 year and 2 days. Sanji is saying in 1982. There's a start of the Dharam Yudh Morcha. So for working towards the Anandpur resolution, the Sanjis then went towards the Dharam Yudh Morcha to free the Gulami, through the shackles of slavery on the Sikh community. And at this point, this is like, it's a bit ruthless, this video is, but it's great. Because what happens is, it's been one year and 2 days, and the Jeep of the Taksar, so everyone knows what car Jeep is, yeah? Jeep hundi hai. And the police have kind of confiscated, taken the Jeep of Jarnail Singh's, okay? It's not Jarnail Singh, it's the Taksar's Jeep, and they've taken the Jeep and they're riding the Jeep around. At the back of it will have Damnavi Taksar, Jatha Pindran, etc. on it. They'll have God Kise Poti and there's, okay? So look at Sanji's response to this now.
ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਦੇ ਖੂਨ ਚ ਤਾੜੀਆਂ ਲਾਉਂਦਾ ਤੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਲਾਉਂਦਾ ਸੀ ਲਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਅਜੇ ਗਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਦੇਖੋ।
So they name a particular police officer, and when Sanji would give a name on stage, more often than not, and this is again, some people might be a bit, a little bit sensitive. The name would be said, and then people would go and deal with that person. And the name they gave of whoever the person was, he would taliyan marda, so he would clap on the death of Singhs. He would clap on the blood spill of the Singhs. So Sanji says then, he goes, "Agge ta taliyan maar se agge ta dekhunge." Let's see if he continues clapping. Another person.
और जेड़ा तुसी चोट ला के जीप चलाई है, ये चेता जरूर रखो ते अपने परिवारों को दस दिओ। जे तां मैं रहा ते तां भी जीप लैनी है, ते जे मैं चला गया ते ये जथा किसे टोपी वाले ने चलाया, कि पुत्रों ने दानी सरबंस दानी श्री गुरु गोबिंद सिंह साहब जी चलाई हुई टकसाल है।
Sanji goes, ठीक है, जो चलानी जीप चला लो ने, पर एक गल चेते रखो, remember this, अपने परिवारों को भी दस दो, your families, if I am still alive, I will take it, I will get it. If not, the Singhs or the Jatha of Taksal, they will get that Jeep back. And he said, "Chete gal rakho ki jehda Jatha ya, the Singhs, topiyan wale de nahi." So the topi, you see like Modi wears a topi sometimes when he needs votes, etc., like the BJP and stuff. He goes, this Jatha, this Taksal isn't someone the topiyan wale di. It's not kind of come from someone who's wearing a topi. Putran de Dani, the one who sacrificed all 4 of his sons, this Jatha was started by Guru Gobind Singh Ji. And that's who this Jatha belongs to. And that's the ultimate the Jeep belongs to. He goes, I am sitting in the 14th position. But the first position was Baba Deep Singh, who fighting with his head in his hand and brought and fought all the way to Darbar Sahib. That's the next bit they said. Sat Sri Akal.
जीप जी सड़ के चलाओ टायर भी लोने ला लवो टंकी पानी वाली हो जो समान खोलना खोलो पर चेता जरूर रखो भी एक जीप दियां दो लैनियां
Then Sanji goes, if you want, take the jeep, break it apart, tanki pani di, or we take it, take the tyres off, but ek gal chete rakhniya leniya do hai wapas. We're not taking one jeep back, we're taking two jeeps back. This is to the state, this is to the police, the DSP is saying ekani do. Look at that mindset, right? We sort of think, if I just get what I gave back, even if I get half of it back to you, Sanjay leniya bhi do hai wapas. Vangar ke, openly. At this point, look where Sanji's in Manji's house. I'm not sure exactly where that video is. Sanji's there. It's not like he's hiding away. He's not in a bunker. He's literally in front of the Sangat, going from one Samagam to the next Samagam, doing speeches. He tells the Sangat off here a little bit. You can just see. And new. And that's the famous line of Sant Jarnail saying that I do not see the death of my body being a death, but when my conscience dies, when my mindset dies, when I become a ghulam to the state, to the Western world, to social media, to TikTok, to whatever it might be, that's when I am truly dead. When these are my influences, not the Guru. And that's Sanji's famous lines.
ਸਿੱਖ ਦੀ ਮੌਤ ਉਦੋਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਜ਼ਮੀਰ ਨੂੰ ਬੀਬੀ ਇੰਦਰਾ ਦੀ ਚੱਪਲੀ ਦੇ ਥੱਲੇ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਤੇ ਦਾੜਾ ਰੱਖ ਕੇ ਕਹੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਕੌਮ ਨੇ ਮੈਂ ਸਮਝਦਾ ਉਹ ਮਨੁੱਖ ਮਰਿਆ.
Sanji goes that person is dead who takes his beard and starts kind of wiping the feet of Indira Gandhi or the state. Again, Indira Gandhi being it, but in this day and age, it's really hard today. Indira Gandhi today is social media. It is TikTok, it is all these crazy websites. That is what we are slaves to at the moment. He's saying, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜਗਾੜੇ ਛੱਡ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਤੇ ਕੰਟਰੋਲ ਕਰੋ ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਕਰਨੀਆਂ I need to say a few other things ਜਗਾੜੇ ਛੱਡੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ
ਸੋ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਸੱਜਣਾਂ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਕਿਉਂ ਲਿਆ ਮੈਂ 5-6 ਦਿਨਾਂ ਸੁਣ ਕੇ ਚੁੱਪ ਕੀਤਾ ਪਰ ਅੱਜ ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਤਾਂ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਪਿਆ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਈ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਰ ਦੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਹੀਆਂ ਅਗਰ ਭਿੰਡਰਾਂਵਾਲਾ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਹਾਉਂਦਾ ਸੰਗਤ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਪਿਆਰ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ ਜੀਪ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਵਿਖਾਵੇ ਸਮਾਂ ਆਉਣ ਤੇ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਲਵਾਂਗਾ ਵੀ ਦੋ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਜੀਪ ਦਾ ਵਿਆਜ ਪੈ ਜਾਣਾ ਮੇਰੀ ਤਾਂ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਦਾ ਵਿਆਜ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਜਦੋਂ
we'll end there. Sanji goes that the second jeep is interest because it belongs to the Sangat and the interest on Sangat is more. You can just see like Sanji, the way they operate and thought was just completely different to the way we operate and think. The last couple of things I want to share with you is Sanji on women. This is a book written by Vandana Shiva. She's like an author. She's on YouTube, done various videos. She's like an agricultural expert. And she writes, this is fascinating because we associate Sant Jarnail Singh with Singhs, with guns, with loads of people, the Chola, and loads of people behind him. But have a read what she says. She says, Guru Nanak says, the most ardent followers of Bhindranwale in his first phase of rising popularity were children and women. And that makes you think, why? Why were women and children going towards Sanji? And the simple reason is, and the simple reason now, the same reason, because Sade Karanche, in our Punjabi households, sharab ne, nashiyan ne, sadi mat marti. Alcohol, drugs, all that has destroyed our houses. And as I say openly, most of us here have some sort of trauma where our dad's drunk and hitting our mum, straight up. Yeah, that's the reality, right? What is that happening? It wasn't because I see how they part kar desi. Hopefully that didn't happen then. But ultimately, the biggest cause is sharab has ruined us. And there's a couple of while ago, there's some film came out about Jamgila. Some of the local singers go, what do you think about Jamgila? And the bottom line is, people like Jamgila have destroyed our culture. Our culture, our sabyachar, I don't really listen to Punjabi music, but our culture and our music, our sabyachar, our arts does not revolve around booze and women. But we've made it that. That's not ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪੁਰਾਣੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਦੇ ਗੀਤ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਮਾਈਆਂ ਗਾਉਂਦੇ ਸੀ they were innocent songs about love, about family, innocent songs, light-hearted songs that would laugh and ਗਿੱਧਾ ਪਾਉਣਾ. None of the crap we hear now. So ਚਮਕੀਲੇ songs are so bad. There's a punkti which I always refer to is ਮੇਰੇ ਮੋਹਨ ਸਰਵਨੇ ਇਹ ਨਾ ਸੁਣਾਏ ਸਾਖਤ ਗੀਤ ਨਾ ਤੁਨ ਗਾਵ ਦੇ ਬੋਰ ਦੇ ਬੋਲ ਜਾਏ. The ਗੀਤ of ਚਮਕੀਲੇ where you say encouraging adultery. How can we accept that? How can we accept, not just Punjabis, but as a society, how can we accept encouraging adultery? How does that work? And then people like Jamkila will be saying this, and then we now associate our sabbhyachar, our culture, with things like that. I'm not saying people in Punjab never sang songs. I'm not saying that. What I am saying, they never sang crappy songs like that. That is not our faith. That is not our community. So this is Sanji talking about women, and that's why women and children were going towards Sanji saying this guy is a savior because he was taking pornography out of our houses. He was taking out gande geet which encourage adultery out of our houses. He was taking out domestic violence out of our houses. He was saying those people who would pick up a ball at night, you start doing Rera Sahib in the evening. Those people who would default to alcohol or anything else, those people were starting reading Bart. They were getting addicted to Bart, and those were people that's why Sanji's impact was so huge that it interrupted the supply and demand markets of booze, of drugs in Punjab and Amritsar especially, because the demand for booze was no longer there. No one to drink anymore. That's how influential Sanji was. So this is a great speech of Sanji talking about a woman's role. It's quite long, so I'm not going to play as much as I can. It's 8:30, right? 50 minutes. Let's go.
ਇੱਕ ਕੋਈ ਟੀਚਰ ਹੈ ਮਾਸਟਰ ਹੈ ਉਹਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਦੋ ਬੱਚੇ ਪੜ੍ਹਨ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਇੱਕ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਸਟਰ ਕੋਲ ਬਿਠਾ ਕੇ ਪੜਾਉਂਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਮੇਰੇ ਮੱਥੇ ਨਾ ਲੱਗੀ ਰਜਿਸਟਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਹਾਜ਼ਰੀ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਲਾਈ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਪਰ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਅੱਖਰ ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੜਾਇਆ ਦੋਹਾਂ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਦੱਸੋ ਪਾਸ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਹੋਵੇਗਾ ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਪੜਾਇਆ ਪਾਸ ਉਹ ਹੀ ਹੋਵੇਗਾ ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਮੱਥੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਲਾਇਆ ਪਾਸ ਕੀ ਹੋਣਾ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਧਰਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਨਾਨੀ ਮੇਰੀ ਪੂਜਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੀ ਜਨਾਨੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਧਾਰਨ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਧਾਰਨ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਉਹ ਜਨਾਨੀ ਦੀ ਮੁਕਤ ਕੌਣ ਕਰੇਗਾ ਚਲੋ ਬੰਦਾ ਤੋਂ ਭਲੇ ਵਿਸ਼ਟ ਨੂੰ ਤੇ ਸਵਰਗ ਨੂੰ ਚਲੇ ਜਾਵੇਗਾ ਜਨਾਨੀ ਦਾ ਖੂਜ ਜਾਵੇਗੀ ਨਾ ਨਰਕ ਵਿੱਚ
So they're talking about other religions, about the states of woman, a woman's only liberated through her man, etc. and so forth. Where Sanji's saying that Sikh is different. And Sikh is saying that the woman is barabar as the man, is equal status.
ਇਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਗੁਰਮਤ ਤੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਵੱਖਰੀ ਕੌਮ ਦਾ ਫਲਸਫਾ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਖਰਾ ਹੈ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜੇ ਖੰਡੇ ਬਾਟ ਦਾ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਮਰਦ ਨੇ ਛਕਿਆ ਤੇ ਮਰਦ ਦੀ ਸ਼ਾਦੀ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਘਰ ਵਾਲੀ ਨੂੰ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਕੋਈ ਛਕਣਾ ਪੈਣਾ ਜੇ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਛਕਾਉਣ ਵੇਲੇ ਪੰਜਾਂ ਪਿਆਰਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਮਰਦ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ ਬੋਲ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ ਬੀਬੀ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਹੋਰ ਨਾਰਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਜਾਓ ਬੀਬੀ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਨਾਰਾ ਲਾਉਣਾ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਬੋਲੇਗੀ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ ਪੜ੍ਹੀਆਂ ਲਿਖੀਆਂ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਭੈਣਾਂ ਤੇ ਮਾਵਾਂ ਬੀਬੀਆਂ ਇਸ ਗੱਲ ਤੇ ਸ਼ੰਕਾ ਕਰਦੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਵਿਤਕਰਸਤ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਕਿ ਸੰਤ ਜੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਦੱਸੋ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਗੁਰਮਤਿ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਨਾਰਾ ਮਨੁੱਖਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਨਿਧਾਨਾ ਸਾਂਝਾ ਖਜ਼ਾਨਾ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਆ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਬੀਬੀ ਨੂੰ ਪੰਜਾਂ ਪਿਆਰਿਆਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਲਾਇਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਪੰਜਾਂ ਪਿਆਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਇਹ ਨਾਸਤਿਕ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਸਵਾਲ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਲੜਕੀਆਂ ਸ਼ਰਧਾ ਵਾਲੀਆਂ ਉਹ ਤੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਵਾਲ ਕਰਦੀਆਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਰ ਕਈ ਪੜ੍ਹੇ ਲਿਖੇ ਵਰਗ ਦੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਸਵਾਲ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਉਹਦਾ ਉੱਤਰ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਜੀ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਵਿਤਕਰਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਿਸ ਵੇਲੇ 1756 ਬਿਕਰਮੀ ਨੂੰ 1699 ਈਸਵੀ ਨੂੰ ਵਿਸਾਖੀ ਵਾਲੇ ਦਿਨ ਆਨੰਦਪੁਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਕੇਸਗੜ੍ਹ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਵਾਲੇ ਸਥਾਨ ਤੇ ਖੜੋ ਕੇ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਗਰੀਬ ਨਵਾਜ ਜੀ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਖਿੱਚ ਕੇ ਬਿਆਨ ਤੇ ਮੰਗਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਉਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਇਤਿਹਾਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਿਖਾਓ ਕਿ ਕਲਮੀ ਧਾਰਨੀ ਕਿਤੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਕਿ ਮਰਦ ਦਾ ਜਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਜਨਾਨੀ ਦਾ ਸਿਰ ਖਰੀਦ ਇਹ ਕਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਸਿਰ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਉੱਠ ਕੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਮਾਂ ਭੈਣੀ ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਸਿਰ ਦੇ ਦਿੰਦੀ ਤੇ ਪੰਜਾਂ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਚ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਪੰਜਾਂ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਤੇ ਇਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਬੀਬੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਲਾਇਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਿਰ ਪੰਜਾਂ ਮਰਦਾਂ ਨੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਨਾਲ ਬਣਾਏ ਸੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਬੀਬੀ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਇਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਪੰਜਾਂ ਪਿਆਰਿਆਂ ਚ ਪੰਜ ਮਰਦਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਣ ਦਾ ਅਧਿਕਾਰ ਹੈ ਬੀਬੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਾਕੀ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਬੀਬੀ ਨਾਲ ਵਿਤਕਰਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਕਰਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਿਤਕਰਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਹੋਰ ਗੁਰਮਤਿ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਵਿਤਕਰਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਬੀਬੀ ਦੱਸੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਈ ਸਾਡੇ ਭਾਈਏ ਵੀ ਏਕਤਾ ਬਾਰੇ ਖਰੜੇ ਕਰਦੇ ਚਾਲੂ ਕਰਨੇ ਜੇ ਕੀਤੇ ਸਾਹ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਸਿੱਖ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਜੇ ਕੋਈ ਕਰੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸੋਧਣਾ ਵੀ ਹੈ ਕਈਆਂ ਨੇ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਦੀਆਂ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ਾਂ ਰੰਭੀਆਂ ਹੋਈਆਂ ਕਿ ਦੋ ਲਾਵਾਂ ਸਿੰਘ ਅੱਗੇ ਤੇ ਬੀਬੀ ਪਿੱਛੇ
I'll stop it there. I just want to talk that little bit there. So we being Western Sikhs and we love our little bit of education and our little Bhai and our, high on moral ground thinking. What has happened is, Vyaya and the girl and boy think, we're equal. So what we're going to do, we're going to change the tradition, and I'll go first for 2 lava, and on the next 2 you go first, like it's a little bloody game or something. And Sanjeev refers to that, and then apne agge hor ki karde hai, saying actually, you know what the hell? Like the problem is where do you stop? Something's a tradition. Tradition doesn't necessarily mean we're saying the banda gayi rahe sari zindagi and jani kare hi rahe. Tradition is a tradition that continues. Because where do you stop? Because it might be a case like you go first, the man, and in the second one the woman goes. Janani ne kehna, why can't I go first? Why should I go second, being at the front? I'll give it a quiz, I'll go, no, allow going front and back. Let's go side by side. And it's so dumb. You'd be like, dude, like, think about it. Then Janani is going to say, you're closer to Guruji and I'm further. Or you're going to swap over every 5. It's ridiculous. The point is, something's a tradition, and traditions continue. Faith is built on tradition. The new Pope was chosen. Look at the tradition and the pomp they had in their tradition, and it is what it is. It's nothing to do with us, but it's great. That's their tradition. We have traditions in our house as well, in the Guru's house, which are all of our traditions. But it doesn't mean anything. Saying thak gaya bechara, innit? So, for the sake of the saying, I'll let him go home, innit? I'll go quicker. But the last thing I want to share is booze. Only because I saw a video of a warrior who's never been in battle. And you love those warriors, isn't it? All these junkie Jarnail, they've never seen a war. I don't get it. So I saw a video and it really, really made me think, like, bloody hell. Like, where are we going? Like, where are we going? And so he's being interviewed, and he's wearing a full bana, looks the part, you think he's a man of faith in God, which you may, I don't really care to say. And the guy goes, are Sikhs allowed to drink? I was on the conversation, can we drink? And he goes, it's the warrior's way of drinking a little bit. I thought to myself, like, what are we doing? Like, the same one substance has destroyed our community. We're trying to find loopholes while wearing these kirpan and these domalle. What are we doing? Each of our families have been impacted by alcohol. Every single one of our families have been impacted. And now, I bane paake, I kapde paake, we're finding loopholes. And it made me laugh. And last week when I heard it, on Sunday, I was doing a talk about Bhai Maani Singh Shaheed. Bhai Maani Singh Shaheed was arrested about Bandi Shor Diwali time, right? The Sakhi goes, after the Bandi Shor da Jor Mela, they're arrested. I don't know what date, we don't have a date in Itihas, but let's say for argument's sake, December, or January, or Feb, or March, whatever date you want. But we know they were made Shaheed in July, in our dates, right? So you told me what glass Bhai Maani Singh was drinking in that duration, while being told to convert, being kept in cages, whatever it is. What was sustaining them? It wasn't any drugs, it wasn't fame, it wasn't booze, there was no Bacardi and Coke there. What was it? Bhai Maani Singh was cut piece by piece. Our Itihas is evidence, is gawah, that when they came to cut them, the Jalal, the butcher thought, I'm going to take Bhai Maani Singh off from the shoulder, from both shoulders and both hips. I'll make 5 pieces. Bhai Maani Singh says, no, your idea is to cut me piece by piece, start from the very first node of my finger. You told me what Bacardi he was drinking or whiskey he was drinking. We are belittling our Shaheeds. We're dragging their names into the dirt by saying that evi sharab peende si, evi nashe peende si, e khande si. And I'll tell you one thing, I always say this now, I genuinely firmly believe it. If 1984 didn't happen, none of these things took any intoxications. Na bhang shaki, na daru pita, na feem khadi, na chitta khada, na crack cocaine, jo bhi marji, none of it. And if they can be killed and shaheed and tortured and still keep their Sikhi alive, how wrong is it for us to say, oh, Bhai Bachittar Singh ne Feem Shah ke fought the elephant? How bad, how belittling is that to Bhai Bachittar Singh? Are we saying Bhai Bachittar Singh was different to Bhai Anok Singh Babbar? Are we saying that Bhai Anok Singh Babbar is different to Bhai Bachittar Singh? Like, are we saying that Bhai Bachittar Singh, who had the blessing to sit with Guru Gobind Singh Ji, take agya from Guru Gobind Singh Ji, take permission to go and fight, we're saying that he didn't take any blessings from Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Instead, he needed a bit of fame. He needed a bit of drugs to take him through that. Whereas the Singhs in the 80s and 90s didn't. So we really need to think carefully and critically, like, we're belittling our Shaheeds by saying that they're taking these drugs. We're saying those sharab been there. And the conversation with that guy goes, do you have a favourite drink? And he replies, yeah, a little bit of spicy rum. Bloody hell, man. So you may do what you want. And I had to say that in English. It's not like I'm going to go and I'm paying Matey Boy's mortgage or something, or he's paying my mortgage. Couldn't care two hoots. But what we are doing is belittling our shaheeds and dragging their name into the dirt. Je kisne peeni ya, ji raj ke pivo. Sure, you wasn't expected to hear that the Gurdwara today. That's not my problem. That's a problem for you and your family. That's a problem for your wife. If the wife wants to drink, that's a problem for the husband. It's not my problem. But dragging our shaheeds, all I would say to you is giving the poisons of life up allows us to live more fulfilled lives with our families, to be physically present with our families, emotionally present with our families. And the divorce rate in Punjab is crazy. And in all communities, to be fair. But just something to think about and reflect on. And I'll say one last thing. This is not my faisala. This is not my decision. This is the faisala of Guru Sahib and Gurbani. Jit peete mat dur hoye, baral pavai vich aaye, apna paraya na pachhane, khasm ho takke khaye. Sharab pee ke, banda does not recognize कि मेरी जनानी, who is my wife and who is not my wife. That's what it means. Apana paraya na pachhane. He does not recognize कि मेरा प्यो आ, मैं प्यो नू ना गालां कड्डां. वो भी देखिया सी सारियां ने. मैं अपने प्यो नू ना कुट्टां. Seen it all, right, as a community. So that's the little bit about there. I say the last couple of bits and we call it a day. What about Khalistan? This is actually one of my favourite speeches of Sant Jarnail Singh. They're just too good. Like, I hope this is it now. Yeah, this is it.
ਮੰਗਿਆ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੁਝ ਵੀ ਲੱਗੇ ਵੀ ਹੈ ਪਰ ਜੇ ਦੇ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਤੇ ਵਾਜੀ ਲੈਣਾ ਛੱਡਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ 1947 ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੇੜੀਆਂ ਚੋਟੇ ਬਲਦੇਵ ਨੇ ਪਾਏ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਹੁਣ ਬਹੁਤ ਚੁੱਕੀਆਂ ਡੁੱਬ ਚੁੱਕੀਆਂ ਉਹ ਡੁੱਬੀਆਂ ਰਹਿਣਗੀਆਂ ਨਵੀਂ ਬੇੜੀ ਤੇ ਚੜ੍ਹ ਕੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਜ਼ਮੀਰ ਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਕਰਕੇ ਜਿਉਣਾ ਮੰਗਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਅਜੇ ਕਿ ਦੇ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਤੇ ਮੋੜਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ
So Sanjay goes, the morcha, whatever stage this was, the demand was not for Khalistan, but the opportunity arises where Khalistan is a discussion, we'll take it without a doubt. We're not going to make the same mistake again, okay? That's Sanjay's bachan. And this is what the context of why is important for Khalistan.
ਨਾਲ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ 2 ਨੰਬਰ ਦੇ ਸ਼ਹਿਰੀ ਬਣ ਕੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਹਿਣਾ 1 ਨੰਬਰ ਦੇ ਬਰਾਬਰ ਦੇ ਫਰੀਕ ਬਣ ਕੇ ਚੱਲਣਾ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਸਹੂਲਤਾਂ ਦੂਜਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਹੈ ਜੇ 200 ਤੇ 30 ਗ੍ਰਨੇਡ ਰੱਖੇ.
This is it. So they're saying if you're going to keep us in Hindustan and India, if we're going to continue to live within the state of India, or of the country of India, Hindustan, then see Renaya Barabar de Sharik. That basically means we're going to stay as equal citizens. You know, competitors is a kind of good word for Sharik as well. Barabar de Shari reh ke rehna hai. And then Sanjay gives an example. The guy Sajjan Kumar. It's a guy, I think Sajjan Kumar, he said, he goes, if they can keep 270 grenades, okay, that's where they're picking up from. Pavan Kumar.
230 ਤੱਕ ਹੀ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਗਿਣਤੀ ਨਾਲ ਚੱਲਣਾ ਪੈਣਾ ਆਪਾਂ 93 ਸਰ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ 7 ਸਰ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਆ 7 ਸਿਰਾਂ ਵਾਲੇ ਨੂੰ 230 ਰੱਖਣ ਦੀ ਇਜਾਜ਼ਤ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੇਰੇ ਖਿਆਲ 1000 ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਬਣ ਜੂ ਗਿਣਤੀ ਦੇ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ.
So they go, okay, if Pavan Kumar without license could keep 270 grenades, and proportionally they gave 7% of martyrdom during the fight for freedom of India, then Singhs gave 93%. So this is Sanjay's mindset. That means if he could keep 270, we could keep thousands. Because in this area, that's how many people gave. And then someone does a Jakarta, and in that time, there's some clever things out there. In that time, someone does a Jakarta, someone's a doctor at the back or something, a professor at the back. He does the mental maths. I had to do it on paper, to be fair. He did the mental maths because it becomes about 2,600 grenades. That's what Sanjay picks up from there. Watch this.
ਪੜ੍ਹਿਆ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ 2600 ਬਣਦਾ ਚਲੋ ਆਪਾਂ 2600 ਦੀ ਪੂਰੀ ਗਿਣਤੀ ਰੱਖ ਲਈਏ 2000 ਗ੍ਰੇਨੇਡ ਤੱਕ ਜਾਣਾ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਕਰੋ ਕਈ ਵੀਰ ਪੁਆਇੰਟਰ ਲਾਇਸੈਂਸ ਕਰ ਲੈ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਠੇਕਾ ਵਾਲੇ ਪੱਗਾਂ ਵਾਲੇ ਲਾਇਸੈਂਸ ਰੱਖਣ ਤੇ ਮੋਨੇ ਕਿੱਧਰ ਮਾਫੀ ਪੂਰੇ ਕਰਨ. They're saying that, again, it's context of where in the 80s, before someone gets to be done for like encouraging everyone to buy arms and grenades. This is Sanjay speaking, and they go, he goes, they're saying we need licenses, innit? And then Sanjay goes, why is it
that Pavan Kumar can have 270 grenades at home without no license, but we all need licenses. This is Sanji highlighting how there's a two-tier system in India, in Punjab, especially for the Sikh and others in India and in Punjab. So Sanji is constantly using examples to highlight that. So this is a great example. They go, Sanji says, we're getting sanu police tang kar diya. If we get an arm or license, whatever, police on tang kar diya, and they take everything away from us. And then Sanji gives this great example. And they say, in a jungle, ek sher hunda. In a jungle, there's a lion. Okay, I'll translate in a second. Look at J jungle to share who is a lion in the jungle, and all the little birds get together going tweet, 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 and they say, to the share, all the little birds, all the little robins, and all the little pigeons and everything, the fat ones, all get together, and they say, you need to leave the jungle to the lion. And the lion walks out of the jungle. Can you truly be called a lion if he gets influenced by little birds, little robins, and little tweet tweet things? So the idea to take arms was a very simple one. You saw cases in Haryana, all around of India, in UP, where Sikh women, Guru Granth Sahib Ji Swarup bin Biadbi. And when Sanji then started saying the Singhs, you should keep arms, and they talk about what you need to do with the arms in a minute as well. But you saw that in those places where Sikh women, Sikh young ladies, or any females were being raped and abused, as soon as the Singhs started keeping arms, the abuse went. No one dared to touch a Sikh bachi again. No one dared to take Guru Granth Sahib Ji Swarup to the Malla of Mara Sahib Ji Swarup and to Biadbi. And Sanji talks about what we're going to do with these arms. And clear parameters. Sanji says it's a big paap to take hatiyar and intimidate others. Use your weaponry, use your position, whatever it is, to intimidate, to do someone's basti. There are very clear parameters to do takka on someone, take someone's fields or land or houses. Very clear parameters. That is a paap, Sanji goes. But to keep Shastra and not... But then to keep Shastra and then still get your own basti done over and again, apne ijjat maati, the ijjat lutti jave. Ki baniya sada. So Sanji said to all the Singhs very openly, keep Shastra, but keep them within parameters. Not like now we see youngsters wearing all the Shastra in the world and one Dhamalla. There's no honour there. There's no Gurwani there. There's nothing there. Right, I think I'm going to end it there. I think I might have had one more, but we'll end it there. And I will just say one last thing. Sanji's last bachan was the moment they attack Sri Darbar Sahib, Harimandir Sahib, that is the foundations for Khalistan. The idea of Khalistan is not a foreign idea. Sometimes we think it's an 80s based idea. But we lived freely under the Raj of Banda Singh Bahadur for a couple of years, then Maharaja Ranjit Singh. But Gurbani is Nanak Raj Chalaya, Sachakor Satani Nivide. That our rule is one of truth. Je sade Guru Karan che langar vardaya, imagine what we would do for the poor if we were kings. In our small institutions, all around up and down the country, we're feeding the poor. Imagine what we would be doing if we ran a country. And that's the Raj of truth, where the slogan is Deg Teg Pate. Khalsa, there's loads of stuff we could talk about here, but I'll end that here anyway. I'll try to stick to time. We had a few technical issues, but it was supposed to be very much listening to Sanji. I still felt like I spoke too much, but hopefully I was providing context. And we all just understand that sovereign mindset, that mindset of not being influenced but by anything but Gurbani, that's the mindset of Sanji. Taking that mindset and being free and flying high and flying ajad. Before we go, we'll just do one dharna, as I often do, is we take Sanji's bhajans, we take all of that and we say, Maharaj, we come to you for our support. We come to you to free our Sikhi, our minds, our gulami from our minds. We come to you, कि Maharaj, you are our savior, you are the way we'll get out of this. You are the way that will stop me from going down that route of pornography, abuse, alcohol, drugs, shrab, meat, whatever it is. You are my strength. I'm going to say don't record, because I don't want to be on your Instagrams. I'm not I'm not, whatever. But, and I think, random bloke on your photos might be a bit weird as well. So we're just going to be here, present, and today we're going to sing this dharana together collectively. Sir jave ta jave, mera Sikhi sadak na jave. Sir jave ta jave, mera Sikhi sadak na jave. When we're singing this, just remember Sant ji, remember those moments in 80s, remember all those Singhs and the Singhniya, remember the Bibiyan, remember all those people, Bibi Vaheguru called, Mere called, all these youngsters, all the Singhs, Bhai Nog Singh Babbar, who kept their Sikhi intact, kept their faith in Gurbani, and I'll say it unashamedly, without any sharab, without any drugs. They kept their Sikhi intact. And that's what we're asking for. We're asking, let us keep our Sikhi, let us keep our faith intact. Sir jave ta jave, mera Sikhi sadak na jave. Sir jave ta jave, mera Sikhi sadak na jave. Sir jave ta jave, mera Sikhi sadak na jave. Sir jave ta jave, mera Sikhi sadak na jave. Sorry for saying anything wrong. I've tried to be as politically correct as one can be, but hopefully everyone took something away. I think that's it. I'm happy to take any questions as well. So, Vaheguru ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru ji ki Fateh. So, any questions or anything? Or anyone to add to it as well? I know we've got some very good bloody, it's good when Saving Punjab walked out. I felt like I'd just chill a little bit. Anyone want to add anything? Not necessarily ask me.